Hello, everyone, and welcome to Movie Goodness, where we examine life through cinema here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reid, and let's set the stage. Let's hop into the DeLorean, go back 40 years to August the 8th, 1996, and knock on the door of a young 7-year-old Kevin Reid. Ask him to come outside, take him to a movie theater, and look at the marquee and ask him, what do you want to go see? 100% 7-year-old Kevin Reid will look at that marquee and see everything that was released that day and point directly to the Transformers, the movie, animated movie, I might add, and walk into that theater, because that's exactly what happened 40 years ago today. 40 years ago, 7-year-old Kevin Reid begged and pleaded with his father to go take him to the movies to go see the Transformers film. And oddly enough, and I didn't realize this until this year, until I was looking at the release date of this film. Or at least I'm not going to say I didn't realize, but I didn't recall. I don't remember this happening, but apparently it did happen. I begged my dad to go and, come and bring me to the theater to see this. And like a good father that he was, God rest his soul, he took me. But the thing is, that was his birthday weekend. His birthday was on the 6th, and this movie came out on the 8th. Instead of celebrating his birthday in adult fashion, he brought his little nappy-head 7-year-old son to go see the Transformers animated movie. And that's just a testament to how awesome of a father he was. But we went and sat in this theater, and my mind was blown away. Not by the quality and deep storytelling of it, but the mere fact that there was a movie of a television show that I watched every single day. And see, this is during the era of the G.I. Joes, the He-Mans, and the Transformers, the Saturday morning cartoons, the afternoon cartoons that helped rear up so many kids in my generation. And that's why I always say it's so sad that our children in this current generation did not have the joy of what we had growing up. And it really sucks. I hate that my kids in particular didn't have those shows. They didn't have those experiences, whereas they had to, well, at least their imaginations were challenged, getting the toys, watching the shows and going get the toys and extending what you just saw on television and things of that nature. That was so much fun. And it helped build upon your imagination, to build upon your creativity as a kid, When I think of, like, when I did write, because I don't write anymore. I need to get back into writing. But when I was writing stories and short stories, I kind of transferred back to that era, where my mind was at its peak of creativity. And that was pretty much birthed from watching this era of television with all of these shows. And Transformers is one of those shows that really, really challenged it, because when it came to this film that came out 40 years ago, it took your childhood, put it in his hand, and took the other hand and just smashed it. I mean, it just destroyed everybody's childhood. I mean, destroyed our childhood with the death of Optimus Prime. And in case you getting upset right now because I spoiled that movie, 40 years ago. Get over it. It's been 40 years. but nobody knew this. If in this day and era, that would have been spoiled in the first trailer. That would have been spoiled in pre-production or something like that, or a set photo. Somebody would have spoiled it with the internet and all that good stuff. But back then, we didn't know what to expect. And not only did he die in the movie, he died in the first, 5-10 minutes of the film. And you're like, I'm ready to go home now. I don't care what happens next at that point, because the star of the film, the star of this franchise, is gone like that. And it was traumatizing. It really was traumatizing. I think it kind of damaged the franchise after that. I mean, Transformers is still going on today, but it really kind of put a little damper around that time. People stopped watching it, or kids stopped watching it, because they were that upset. And it was no disrespect to Hot Rod, or Rodimus Prime as he came to be by the end of this film. It was just Optimus. We grew a fondness for Optimus. That was our guy. Everybody loved Optimus Prime. With Peter Collins' just felonious voice, echoing Optimus Prime's voice. It was traumatizing, man. It's still to this day. It's hard. It was hard to watch. For the rewatch for this show, it was hard to watch it. Because my mind went back. I reverted back to 7-year-old Kevin, and it really hurt. It hurt. And the same thing with other films around that time that was traumatizing to childhood. The movie was just in my head and it popped right out of my head instantly. That just goes to show you that I am officially old. But it was another film that came out around that time. It was the one with the horse. It was a fantasy film with the horse in the quicksand, and it drowned in the quicksand, or was buried in the quicksand, I should say. Oh, what was that movie? Was it the Never-Ending Story? It could have been a Never-Ending Story. But anyways, that was traumatizing. You're not supposed to watch it as a kid, but it was a kid's film, but it was that impactful. And speaking of quicksand, just go off on another tangent for a second. You remember in the 80s with all of these fantasy films, or films in general, how quicksand was so prevalent, how quicksand was kind of a worrisome thing. I used to worry about quicksand when I got older. I'm like, man, what are we gonna do? I was scared to go to a beach, anywhere where there was sand, because I didn't know where the quicksand portion of it was. It was so prominent in the 80s. Quicksand was a thing. But I don't know what happened with that. You don't see quicksand in movies no more. But anyway, moving on. Transformers the movie. This, of course, was based off of the TV show. This story in particular was set in 2005, in the far future, in 1986 of 2005, 20 years after the show's second season. And the plot follows the Autobots, robots, who are hunted by Unicron, who was a planet-sized transformer. And the film, the voice talents in this film was phenomenal. A mishmash of actors and actresses that you wouldn't think would be a part of a Transformers franchise. But you had Eric Idle, you had Judge Nielsen, and at that time, the only thing I knew from Judge Nielsen, it was The Breakfast Club. But he was the voice of Rodimus, or Hot Rod on Rodimus Prime. Leonard Nimoy, who we all know as Spock. You had Casey Kasem, who was a very famous radio DJ back in the day. Robert Stack from Unsolved Mysteries fame. And of course, you had Peter Cullen and Frank Walker, who voiced those same characters in the show, Optimus Prime and Megatron, respectively. And the biggest star, or the biggest name a part of this was Orson Welles. Orson Welles, the man who gave us Citizen Kane. He was a voice. And not only a voice, but the voice of Unicron. And boy, that was a haunting voice he gave for this character. I mean, spooky as all get out. That was perfect for me. That was like I don't know if they could have picked anybody better for that. Unfortunately, 12 months before or 10 months before the film came out, Orson Welles passed away. So this was officially his final performance of Unicron in the Transformers the movie, which is weird. It not no disrespect to the Transformers the movie, but this was a man who a lot of people considered as a genius or one of the great innovators in film. With Citizen Kane, a film that changed the way movies were made in Hollywood, the way you approached films in Hollywood, and this was his final gift to everybody, was the Transformers the movie. And I'm trying to say it in a way that's not disrespectful to anything, nothing a part of this, because I loved his performance in this, and it did nothing but elevate this film. And so I think you need to put some respect on this performance of Unicron as the one thing that he left behind for us to remember, especially us of a certain age, because I mean, the target audience here who was watching this film in 1986 didn't know what a Citizen Kane was, didn't know what a Rosebud was, and so we just knew the voice. But as you got older and knew who Orson Welles was, you were like, wow, that was him. Same thing with Leonard Nimoy. I knew of Star Trek and everything, but I didn't know Leonard Nimoy had portrayed Spock at that time. And so when I found out that was him, I was like, man, it kind of just puts a little more gravitas to the film. But the true star of this movie was the soundtrack. This had the most rocking, heavy metal, mid-'80s soundtrack of any film I have ever watched. This soundtrack was booming. I've been listening to it for like a week since I decided to do this show. I'm just listening to it, and I'm not a heavy metal guy. I'm not a rock guy, but I listen to all genres of film, so I can stand it, man. But this was a booming soundtrack to go with this booming movie. And thinking back, which is a no-brainer in the grand scheme of it all, thinking back, it's like, of course you'll have a heavy metal soundtrack to a film that has heavy metal robots, So it all made sense. But y'all know me, I'm slow. It takes a while for things to register for me to get it. And so it took me 40 years before I could get an understanding of that. I mean, you couldn't have Run DMC providing the soundtrack for the Transformers the movie. But anywho's, we pick up in the film, they're on Cybertron and there's the battle. We're thrust right into it. Now, I don't know, because I was trying to do a little research and trying to find, what was the genesis of this film, and was this supposed to be season 3, or this was always the plan? But it felt like it started off like a continuation of season 2. I mean, we're thrust right into the action. The battle is, of course, going on. The Decepticons, they conquered Cybertron, and the Autobots, they are, operating from the moon of Cybertron, and they're preparing for a counteroffense. And so Optimus Prime, he sends the shuttles to Autobot City on Earth for supplies, and that was also another thing. Now, you have to think about this movie in the sense of, in the sense of 80s logic, as opposed to, common sense or reality. Whereas Cybertron is like directly next to Earth by their logic. That's the way they made it seem. Oh, just go get like it's at the corner store. Go get supplies from Autobot City on Earth. And so it's one of those suspend disbelief things, and there's a lot of them. Plus, it's a cartoon, so there's all that. But anyways, I'm breaking it down. 47-year-old Kevin. Now it's 7-year-old Kevin. This is a completely different review. Uh, they go to get the surprise, and immediately they're discovered. The Decepticons discovered their plan, and they killed the Autobots. They killed, I think it was Ratchet, Ironhide, it was somebody else, but they died. And so immediately I'm like, wait, this ain't like the cartoon. they are legit dying here, and so the stakes are a little higher. They're going more grander in this film, and that was more in the effort to kind of set you up to what you have in store for you, well, what they have in store for you in a few minutes in this movie. And so, okay, we get to Autobot City. Hot Rod, he's there with Daniel, who is the son of Spike, and in the cartoon, Spike was a kid. So we get to the movie, and he's grown up now. Like I say, it's been 20 years, and so he's grown up, and he has a son of his own. I was confused. This was the first moment I was confused watching this movie as a kid. I'm like, wait, so this is Spike? No, this is Daniel. But this is Daniel is Spike's son. Wait, he had a son? I didn't know. Like I said, we didn't have internet back then. We didn't have tea leaves and all this other stuff to kind of explain the story before you got to the theater. You had to just run with it. And so, all right, we get it. We get this kind of scene where it's explained a little bit, but my adrenaline was picking up around this time, and I really wasn't paying attention, just to be honest and fair. And so Hot Rod, he sees the Decepticons and attacks, and the Decepticons, they all leap into battle. Optimus arrives with reinforcements and engage Megatron in combat. Both of them are mortally wounded, and this forced the Decepticons to retreat into I forgot where they went, but anyways, we get to the scene. Where Optimus Prime, Optimus Prime has been shot before on the show. He's been beaten to a pulp before on the show. But this wound was different. This was so different. To the point to whereas he was changing colors. His colors were starting to fade. The paint was starting to fade on that 18-wheeler. And you wonder what's his problem? Won't he get up? He's laying on a table and everybody's freaking out. What is happening right now? And he opens up his chest. He gives the matrix of leadership to Ultra Magnus, and he tells him that the power of the light, at least its power, will light the Autobots' darkest hour. And then he dies. Every kid that was in the theater cried. Every kid cried. I remember that so fondly, like it was yesterday. It was traumatizing to us, man. I I don't recall crying. I'm gonna be 100% honest. I don't recall crying. I could have, but I don't think I did. And the reason I didn't, I think because my dad was sitting there, and so I didn't want to cry in front of my dad. But trust me, I was hurt. What was definitely hurt. That I can guarantee. Now I probably did shed a tear or two. I think I was more confused than anything. I think that's probably why I didn't cry. But I was so confused because I'm like, wait, this doesn't happen in movies. You don't kill the hero. You don't go see Die Hard and Bruce Willis dies 5 minutes into the movie. And the rest of the movie is supposed to play out. No, who wants to watch that? Who does that? And so it didn't make sense. It did not make sense to me. I was trying to wrap my head around what was going on. No, I didn't cry, but I remember everybody else crying. But it definitely hurt because I was a big Transformers fan. I'm at the time I had all the toys, well, not all of them, but I definitely had the Optimus Prime toy with the trailer that turned into the base. I had all that. I was all in with Optimus, and I just could not believe it. I refused to believe it. So as the rest of the movie played out, it took me a while to get my bearings together. It didn't happen. Honestly, didn't happen until the reveal of Ultron. Unicron, not Ultron. That's a completely different franchise. Unicron. And Unicron had found Megatron floating in space. And Megatron was floating in space because Starscream, who was like the punching bag of Megatron throughout the TV show, finally stood up and grew a pair. And stood up to Megatron, who was also wounded mortally in that battle with Optimus Prime. He threw him off the plane. He declared a mutiny, I guess you could say, and threw him off of the ship that they were on, and he was left dying in space, drifting. And Unicron frowned and offered him a chance of life because he was dead. He was good as dead. And Unicron, in exchange, wanted his service, wanted him to serve him. And Megatron is like, fine, no problem. No problem. Didn't die. And he starts to kill Megatron. And he's like, no. No, I'm good. I'm gonna serve you. I'll serve you. And he started the transformation. And this is where I got locked back in the film, because this was the coldest scene when Megatron exchanged his body to a new body to become Galvatron. And Galvatron was such a sleeker, cooler design than Megatron. And he was actually more frightening in this new version of himself. And his mission was to go and get the Matrix of Leadership, who is currently being possessed by Ultra Magnus. So that's where the movie starts to pick back up. And it wasn't a long gap between those moments there. But it was, and when you think about it now, like I felt this way when I rewatched it a few days ago. I said, okay, this is really good storytelling here. I didn't appreciate it back then because I didn't care. I just wanted to see robots fighting, But now I appreciate the storytelling there because you have the death of one character and the rebirth of another. Really, the death of two. You had the death of Optimus Prime and you had the death of Megatron. And Megatron, he was reborn into Galvatron. I know that sounds crazy, but you get the gist. But it was actually some good storytelling there in those moments. So now we get to a portion of the film where it kind of it goes off the rails a little bit for me, when you have the gearhead things. You had the Dinobots, and I never was a Dinobot guy. I did not like the Dinobots. It's nothing that they were doing that was upsetting. It was just, for me, logically, it was stupid. Why would you have Dinobots? You know, why would you have robot dinosaurs or robots that transform into dinosaurs? You're not disguising nothing. You're still metal. So in my mind, and this is me at 7, in my mind, I'm like, this is stupid. And I still feel that way to this day. That is dumb. I did not like, but I get it for the toys aspect of it all, for the business aspect of it all over there at Hasbro. Or is it Hasbro? Yeah, they were just looking to sell toys, but it just did not logically make sense. And with the Junkrons or Junkatrons or whatever they were called, didn't like that either. It was like, y'all just trying to make more toys or sell more toys. Those characters really held no bearing on the movie. So we get to the point where Galvatron has found them, and he starts to attack the remaining Autobots. Ultra Magnus is trying to open up the matrix of leadership because he thinks this is their darkest hour. No, he couldn't open it up. He couldn't open it, and they continue fighting. Eventually, the planet that they were on, Unicron, arrives. And Unicron is already like a planet, but he's more like a moon, a small moon, scale-wise, but still a giant transformer. And he can transform, and he transformed into this big old robot. I mean, bruh, this was gangsta. I'm like, how? On God's green earth or outer space, God's green outer space. How are they going to vanquish this villain? He's too big. He's too big. But anywho's, one thing leads to another. Galvatron gets the matrix of leadership from Ultra Magnus. And so instead of having this and handing it over to his new master, Unicron, he threatens Unicron with it. He in typical Megatron fashion, he wants Unicron to do his bidding now that he has the matrix of leadership. And so this is when he transformed, I believe. This is when Unicron said, "Oh, you think you must don't know who you messing with." So he transforms into the big old giant humanoid version of himself, and he just decimates Cybertron, destroys Cyber. I mean, it wasn't even about eating it. He just wrecked it. Like, oh, you playing with me? No problem. So Galvatron, he went to attack him, and Unicron swallowed him and the Matrix. And so the Autobots, they arrive, and they continue to battle with the Decepticons, and the other one, the Junkatrons or whatever, and the Dinobots are trying to defend Cybertron. And you have Hot Rod's ship is damaged, and he and his group of Autobots, they crash into Unicron's eye. They go through his eye, and now they're inside of Unicron. And Daniel is there as well, who he's there to save his father, along with the other Autobots who were there and trying to survive the digestive system of Unicron. And the group, they managed to help him out. And so Galvatron, he attempts to ally himself with Hot Rod, but Unicron forces him to attack Hot Rod and almost kill him. But he recovers and activates the Matrix. And this was the peak moment of the Transformers the movie. When Hot Rod rolled over, got that Matrix, and began to open it up, and he just opened it because everybody throughout the film, this was, like I said, perfect, perfect setup throughout this movie. That's why it took a while. You had to grow old to appreciate the storytelling elements that they used in this film. Throughout the film, they set it up to whereas uh, Ultra Magnus tried to open it, he couldn't. Um, Galvatron tried to open it, he couldn't. Unicron is seeking it so much. They put so much emphasis on this matrix of leadership, and nobody could crack it. And to have Hot Rod just open it with ease because he is the true leader. He is the one that the matrix of leadership chose to lead the Autobots into the future. And he opened that thing and became Rodimus Prime, the new Autobot leader at that moment, was phenomenal. He easily beat a Galvatron. He just tossed him through Unicron like he was a little crumbled up piece of paper he threw into the trash, and then he used the Matrix power to destroy Unicron. And then they escaped with the other Autobots as Unicron exploded. Blew them up, and Decepticons, they all retreat like they normally do. And this was like just epic. It was an epic conclusion to this war. And then as the movie is going off, this is post credit scenes in films. We got a post credit scene at the very end of the movie when you see the severed head of Unicron orbiting Cybertron, and the movie cuts to black. This movie was phenomenal, man. I still get joys. Is it the greatest animated film of all time? No. Is the artwork a little rough? Yes, it was 1986. This is before Pixar and DreamWorks and Illumination. You weren't going to get top quality animation. But if you appreciate the style of the 80s animation and the style of the animated series that came out around that era, this is a perfect representation of that. This was such a joy to watch over again. Not so much a joy in 1986 for a child, but it's definitely a joy to revisit and to go down this nostalgic road and conjure up all of these memories you have of playing with your Transformers and playing with your G.I. Joes and having a crossover in your own living room or in your bedroom or wherever you played with those toys. It's something that you didn't get from the Michael Bay Transformers films. You just didn't get that. And as much as the live action films have their charm, it pales in comparisons to me to the Transformers the movies. 40 years later, it's still a joy to watch. But now I believe in September they're doing a re-release of the film in theaters. It's called the Apology Tour. That's legit. They're doing the Apology Tour, and it's supposed to be extra scenes, deleted scenes, and it's going to be like an apology tour. To whereas, I guess they're going to apologize for the Optimus of it all. It took them 40 years, but they're finally going to apologize to everybody for ruining their childhood. So big ups to them for that. I appreciate that. Does it go back and erase all the trauma I deal with? No, but hey, it helps. It's a step. It is a step. I plan to go see it because I want to see the new footage. I want to see what does it change the movie any? What kind of changes are they going to make? To be honest with you, I don't want to see Optimus in. I don't want to see him resurrect Optimus Prime in the film, even though I feel that's probably what they're going to do. But the movie needed that, to be honest with you, to elevate Hot Rod to become Rodimus Prime. Without that, there is no movie, you know. So I really hope they don't touch that. And so just leave it be. Leave it be. But we'll see. I forgot the date, but I know it's in September. But what I want to learn, I want to know honestly, if you're around my age, if you grew up in the '80s and you went and saw this movie, if you watched the animated show, did you feel the same way I felt? Were you as traumatized as I was as a youngster? Did it break your heart when Optimus Prime passed away in that film? And what was your favorite? Who was your favorite Autobot? Who was your favorite Decepticon? I would love to know. And do you think that the live action films, this is my last question. I know that's a lot. I don't think the ACTs have this many questions. But do you ever think that live action films will ever capture what the animated TV show or this movie gave us? I would love to know that, because I don't think so. The closest one you got to it was Bumblebee. That was the closest you got to it. But all the rest, no. I don't know if they can do it, because it's well, anyway, that's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother show. I'm just curious. I'm curious. Do you think that we'll ever get a live action version that can have that same charm, that same nostalgic throwback feel that we got back in the day? Subscribe to the kbradionetwork.com website, where you can be notified of all new episodes and go back and listen to previous episodes here on the site. Also, don't forget about the KB Radio Network channel on YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and like this video while you're there. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to movie goodness here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this retro throwback review of the 40-year anniversary to the Transformers, the movie. Oh, man, it felt so good to watch it again. I'm not gonna lie. It's been so long since I watched that movie. And I had the DVD just somewhere. I don't know where it's at. But I found it. I found where I could watch it. I watched it again, and man, it felt good to go back in time. I want you all to know that I love you. Continue to love everyone, and until we speak again, you all be blessed.